Hey there everybody, redxparasite here, and welcome back to Let's Play Metroid Prime 3. In the last episode, we found and defeated Gandreda, and got ourselves the grapple voltage. And in this episode, we're going to be doing a little bit of exploring here on Elysia, because we need to find something that will allow us to traverse the magnetic rails that we've been seeing. And luckily for us, we know exactly where that is. Happens to be in this very room, in fact. So, can you actually scan something through there? Huh. It's funny. Okay. So we're gonna roll through here. And it puts us in this room. So, we have a bit of a puzzle. And this puzzle is actually really cool. And I'll admit that it took me a little while to figure it out the first time. So you have to pull this up into the air, and then while it's in the air, shoot it with a missile to knock it back. And that, you know, magically knocks it into place, and it's suddenly perfect. So, before doing that, we unlock that, which we'll get to in a moment. First things first, let's get this lore entry. Defeat. 2 weeks following the seed's impact were disastrous. Like the Aurora unit, we too were infected with a Phazon-based virus. The spreading corruption consumed many of us, putting us under space pirate control. It was not long before only a handful of us remained. During this time, there was but a moment that we received aid. Gore, the hunter dispatched by the Federation, arrived here to restore the Aurora unit. Our hope quickly vanished as he too was corrupted by Phazon and lost his own will. He now leads the assault on the remaining survivors, taking more and more of the station over with each passing day. There is no hope left for us. Soon we too will be among the enemy forces. The last of us now stand before the brink of our history's end, silently waiting out our final hours. I am Elysian, descendant of both the Chozo and the First. I am facing the last moments of my life and transferring my memory to the data pod. It's a very tragic end for them, but for us, we now have access to the Spider Ball. I do like the nice touch here of the Chozo statue, since we are in a facility that was initially created by the Chozo. Now finally have access to the Spider Ball. So we've been seeing quite a few of these tracks in our travels, and I actually was standing right where the floor opened up. And if we fall down, we're going to get to use it right here. So as long as you press and hold Z, you will be attached to the rail. If you let go, you will drop off. Pretty self-explanatory. You can propel yourself up using bombs. You can also boost off of the track in whatever direction you're facing. So if you get knocked off the track though, however, you will fall off, which is inconvenient. As you can see there, I just demonstrated. Now if you have a good enough distance to fall, you can reattach yourself like I did there. But aside from that, there's really not much more to say about it. There is some health and ammo down here if you need it. And let's see. Okay, I think it's around here. Let's see. Okay, yeah, if you take this track, you'll be able to get a missile expansion. This is actually where you first boost. I think the game will give you a tutorial here if you don't do it quickly enough. Yeah, if you haven't done it before, say this is your first time playing a Prime game and you didn't know that you could do that. It serves as a helpful guide. So, of course, we'll use the Spider Ball to get out of here. Now, it's interesting. I think this carries over from Prime 2. Fortunately, I didn't have an area in which to test it. The direction that you boost off the track is not dependent on the track itself, like, you know, you being perpendicular to the track. It's actually the direction the morph ball is facing, so you can actually do some interesting things with boosting off the track. But now that we're back out here, of course, since the zip line is broken, now the only way for us to get back is to use this. But, you know, we'd kind of want to anyways, because there is something very worth our time on it. Now, what I find interesting about this section is you can actually boost up it, sort of. So like, once you get to this section, you actually don't need to use the spider ball track at all. So that can save you a bit of time. As with this section, there is a spider ball track there, I think. But you don't need to use it. So what we want is here, energy tank, so definitely worth your while to get. And the nice thing about this is that this track is actually kind of symmetrical, so you have to do a double bomb jump there in order to make that. But on the other way, you don't have to use the spider ball at all. You can just use it. It's fast and it's fun. So now that we have collected the spider ball, we actually have a few upgrades that we can pick up here on Elysia. So we're gonna do a bit of cleanup here before we head back. So our first, let's see, I'm trying to think of where we want to head to from here. Let's see, I think, yeah, we want to go to the left first. Say hi to the Dragoon drones. If only this door would load before I get hurt. Okay, so for this one, the bridge was destroyed the last time that we came here, so we're gonna have to roll around a bit. Okay, I don't think this moves any fast. Oops. I don't think this moves any faster if you actually boost. Or not. There's like no difference in speed. Okay. Now that we're back on this platform, we're just going to ignore these guys again, as long as they don't directly get in our way. Okay, so the first thing that we can do is there's a missile expansion here that we can get, and there's actually also a new enemy here as well. I'm about to fall off the platform, but that'll happen after we do the scan. So this is a Phasoid, corporeal phazon energy that is vulnerable to phazon-based attacks. Phasoids are masses of phazon energy that form after a Leviathan has been destroyed. They still retain a small bit of sentience and are mindlessly aggressive. The only way to damage a Phasoid is by attacking it with phazon-based attacks. However, this has a side effect of causing the creature to split into two smaller forms. Once the Phasoid is split small enough, it will simply fly at a target and detonate on contact. It's said that some Phasoids may split into a rare crimson-colored form. So, in order to defeat them, you are going to need to use Hyper Mode. They can be quite a pain because of those energy waves that they send out. They can be quite a nuisance if you're trying to explore areas and the game, won't let you. Oh, so actually, rather than take the long way around, now that we have the grapple voltage, we can actually activate this. So, if we use it properly, then we can power up this lift, which if we enter in the morph ball, that'll just carry us all the way up. It's much faster than going the other way around. And since we have the screw attack, we can just barely make it over here. And there's a missile expansion on this platform. I believe we have already gotten this scan. Oh, we have not. Okay. So there's a Lauren trip here as well. This is Phazon. 1 week after we lost communication with the Aurora unit, we witnessed the living planet strike again. It sent forth several stellar objects, one aimed directly for us. It streaked through the clouds of Elysia, destroying a large portion of our home, ultimately striking the distant core below. Soon our sensors detected the presence of strange energy. Our readings matched the Federation's data. This was the same toxin that corrupted countless other planets and our creator's world, the galactic scourge called Phazon. Okay, so we actually need to go back to that platform. So we're going to screw attack back. Only took us 4. Because in here in the... forgetting what the name of this room is. Let's see. Double check. Yep, got you. Okay. I think this is called the, like, ballista storage. See if I get that right. And okay, cool. I can remember things sometimes. So down here, last time we were here, we actually saw 2 ports that we can now use the grapple voltage on. Of course, this place isn't, empty, but now we have some advantages that we didn't have the last time we fought this thing. One of which is the X-ray visor, which lets us see him even when he's invisible, and we also have the plasma beam, which helps us deal more damage. So we're going to need to power these up using the grapple voltage, and that will grant us access to this energy cell. So we're now up to 5 of those. And I think doing that just shut those fans down, so it doesn't really have any major effects on the room in terms of, allowing us access to something else or something of that sort. So that's all we had to do in the ballista storage. There's nothing left for us to do here now. So we're kind of clearing out the first area of SkyTown. Here is what we're doing. Because we have everything that we need to actually get everything.
Samus, this is Admiral Dane. I've ordered the Federation fleet to walk to the pirate homeworld and begin the invasion. I think it's time we took the fight to them. We'll contact you when we're ready to commence our assault.
Okay, so you can see the Federation is making good on their plans to launch an assault on the space pirate homeworld. We're just getting a little bit of progress for that. So now that we have cleared out the ballista storage, we're going to be heading clockwise 90 degrees once again. Or pi over 2 radians. And this room right here, we can cross since we have the screw attack, and since we just picked up the spider ball as well, there's an expansion in this room that we can get to. So this will kind of serve a double purpose of getting an expansion for us and getting us to the area where we need to go. So one thing that you should check whenever you're fighting phasoids is you should scan to see... Okay, I think this one is actually a red phasoid, and these are kind of rare. So, rare strain of corporeal energy, it has the same vulnerability. Red phasoids, like their more common siblings, can only be damaged by phazon-based weaponry. They are wildly aggressive and will split into 2 smaller forms when attacked, so Their reddish appearance is the result of an unstable energy core, an uncommon mutation that occurs when a phasoid is formed, overloading their core, so they will yield a rare item when destroyed. Now, it doesn't actually give you an upgrade. They are more resilient as well. But for defeating them, you get a gold credit. Now, I'm not sure if this only appears the first time you defeat one. I think it might. Like, I don't think you can get an unlimited number of gold credits from them. But if you want to get everything in the menu, I think you will need all of the gold credits. So, consequently, you will need to defeat at least one of them. So we'll see if we run into more of them. They will appear in more areas that we have previously visited, but there's a ship missile expansion here on this spider-wall truck. So that's the main thing that I came to this room to collect. And there's also a scan here, though I think this is the one that we have gotten previously. Don't forget to scan the spider-wall tracks, by the way. That does count towards your research, I think. So now we're just going to head to the pod over here. This is the Steambot Barracks. There is a missile expansion here that we can get now that we have the spider ball. I think this is the last thing that we'll be picking up on Elysia for this visit. So, see, we actually don't want to use that elevator. Because this is the room that we want to be in. We're going to need to boost back up to this level because the entrance to the morph ball tunnel we want to use is up here. So don't take the elevator, but do go in here. Okay, so what you need to do is just hold Z when that jet of air lifts you up, and you'll just grab onto the spider-wall track immediately. So, not difficult in the slightest. And now that we've done that, we want to head back to our ship. So I think the fastest way to do that is just to go to the landing site where we initially landed here. Let's see, did I take a good route or a bad route? Yeah, the other way would have been better. So I'm going to double back. I still think it's going to be faster. Just taking that zip line's going to take a while. Would be better just to take a morph ball cannon. Actually, this isn't that. Whatever. We get to screw attack, so that's fun. And at the very least, when we're going back through this room, though, we won't have to do the whole thing with the spider ball again. And, you know, it also lets us take in the atmosphere, this area. One thing I did fail to point out, though, in the past, SkyTown is apparently massive, because there's a lot of pods there in the background that we never go to. So, a very, very big facility, and I'm glad that the developers, you know, only gave us so much access to it, because otherwise it'd be pretty overwhelming. Okay, so from here, we want to take... Okay, just one more clockwise rotation and we'll be complete. So we went around the full circle here. And we'll take this back to the landing site. By the way, we did pass 50% of the items. It was a little while back now, but I did fail to comment on it at the time. But we're getting there slowly but surely. It does kind of feel like the item collection in this game, at least for the routing that I'm using here, is a little skewed towards the later half of the playthrough, because really a lot of areas we could go back and we could get some of the items there, but we couldn't. We wouldn't be able to get everything on that visit, so it's just more prudent to wait until we have all the upgrades that we need to get everything in the area. So we just make one trip or one visit through the whole thing rather than getting everything. So yeah, we're up to 62 now, so we're actually doing pretty well. So we need to head back to the research facility and pick up that shield that we saw now that we have the spider ball. Once we land, however, though, I think I will cut this episode here since we are getting up there on time. But yeah, the item pickup will increase a lot. Like we did make a lot of progress in this episode, but some of the future episodes will be getting a lot of upgrades in a short period of time. So I am going to save, and thank you very much for watching this episode of Let's Play Metroid Prime 3. I've been redxparasite, signing out.